Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be discussing my labour and delivery experience and also just some unexpected things I didn't know that was going to come into my life when I became a mum. So this is what today's topic is going to be. Basically my first sit down video, just talking to you guys about my labour experience, because this is just something that I don't want to forget, and I would love to just look back on it and remember and think, wow, like I went through that. Do you know what I mean? So while it's still kind of fresh now, my daughter is a year old, I just want to make a video on it and talk about it. So first things first, my daughter was born on the 29th of October last year, and the way that I knew I went into labour was because basically she was meant to, well, her predicted due date was 24th, 25th of October. On the 26th of October, I just couldn't sleep all night. I don't know why. I just couldn't sleep. My body was just like, yeah, like you're not sleeping. I just had this different type of energy where I just could not sleep and I didn't know why. Now on the 27th, which was obviously early hours of the morning from the 26th, I went to the toilet at 5 o'clock in the morning and I had a bloody show, and obviously they say if you see a little bit of green in this bloody show, then like your baby could have done a poo inside of you. So that's me thinking, oh my gosh, like why is there green in it? Do you know what I mean? Because before this I was losing like white discharge and it basically looked like bloody show, but it didn't have blood in it from what I can remember. I think it might have had little tints of blood, but it was more white. So I did talk to my midwives about this, because I didn't just have one, just because my midwife went back to the hospital because her patients were all having their babies, so she had to be located at the hospital rather than the midwife part, you know, like the office. And what happened was I called the number that you need to call if you think you're obviously in labour, and I had like very very dull slight pains in my back. It was all in my back, guys, like it was just all in my back. It was quite, I would say kind of like period pain, but not as intense as period pains. So I had that and I just called them up and I said like, look, I've been getting pains in my back now. I had my bloody show. I think my baby might have done a poo inside of me because I had the little green bit in my bloody show. I think they call it amniotic fluid, maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure, I think it's that. But basically that happened, and then they said to me to monitor it for an hour and put a pad on just to see like if my waters do break or anything, and just to keep an eye on what does come out on the pad. So these times my partner literally went to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. Someone phoned to my partner saying, oh my god, like I think I'm in labour, like I can't believe this is happening. Well, it was meant to happen anyway, but it was like now, like really, like I'm scared, you know. And I waited till 6 o'clock and these pains were coming like, I think every 5-10 minutes I kept getting these pains in my back. So I called them back up and they told me to go up to the hospital to get obviously checked out or whatever. And little did I know, I'm pretty sure I was having contractions for the past couple of days before like this happened, because obviously first time mum, I didn't know what contractions actually felt like the very early stages, and my stomach was so tight. It was extremely tight, and they said, yeah, that's contractions. I was like, what? Like, there's me not knowing I'm having full-on contractions here. And yeah, so this is just a stage where you don't know, you don't have that pain there, do you know what I mean? It's just tightenings. There's me thinking, yeah, it's Braxton Hicks or something else, just the baby, but no. No. So I got checked out. They told me I was contracting, and they basically just checked up with me about what happened at home. They told me to obviously lay on the bed. They put the, what do you call it, the monitors on my stomach. I think one is for the heartbeat and one is for the movements or contractions, something like that. I don't remember completely, but yeah, so I had those on my stomach. I'm just laying there, and I remember saying to my mum, like, what, like, I'm in labour, like, what? But now in the early stages you're going to be laughing because you think, yeah, I'm in labour, I don't feel nothing, it's like, it's cool. Whew, boy, let me tell you, it's hard, I'm not gonna lie. And I have a very low pain tolerance, but I feel like I handled it quite well. So they told me to like go for walks or whatever, and that's what I started to do. I went for a walk with my mum. They checked my dilation as well. I was only 1 centimetre. Let me tell you, for me, the dilation checks are awful. It's awful. I feel like it's the most uncomfortable thing I've ever gone through, like, ever. I hated it so much. So I was 1 centimetre, and I had to like walk around or whatever, try and get this baby out. So that's what I was doing. And then I had the ball to bounce on, so I was using the ball. I just felt really uncomfortable in the bed because I'm having contractions. They weren't strong then, but I was having the contractions, and like, because obviously a big pregnant belly, it was just uncomfortable. So I think it got to, like, every couple hours they was giving me paracetamol. I can't remember what the other one's called. It's either like codeine or cocodamol or something. If anyone knows, write below because I can't remember completely, but they kept giving me those. They didn't touch me. Honestly, they didn't touch me whatsoever. So basically, as the hours went on, my contractions got more intense. They kept checking to see if my waters are broken, kept doing like the examinations below just to make sure I was all okay, because obviously if the baby's done the poo inside me, then they're meant to act on it, but they didn't. I don't really know why. I never really understood why, but so I can't lie, the pain sometimes got quite intense, and it was just to the point where I felt like emotional because my partner wasn't there. He was at work, my mum was with me, and because of COVID I was only allowed one person. It was quite upsetting, it was very hard, and I just got a little bit emotional sometimes because I was thinking, like, this is happening now. Like, I feel like it was more shock than anything. I was just like, how am I gonna do this? In my head I'm thinking, how am I gonna do it? So I had to wait every 4 hours just to get more paracetamol, but honestly it didn't even touch me whatsoever. It didn't touch me. Then I remember I was standing up and it was just like, all of a sudden it's like I wet myself. So I didn't know till after I had my daughter that I think they say you have front waters and back waters. Over time I think my waters slowly broke because sometimes I would wake up during the night, way before I went into labour. In the 3rd trimester though, that sometimes I would wake up and my underwear would be a bit wet or the bed would be a little bit wet, and there's me thinking like, why is it wet? And I would ring them and let them know. And one time I had to go get checked just to make sure that there was no risk of infection. Yeah, as I was saying, they like to keep checking me just to see if my waters did actually break. But even after I had that big like thing as if I wet myself. I didn't lose my waters completely, they said. So after that, I just felt like I just needed to keep going to the toilet. Like, I just felt like I needed to go toilet all the time. Like, I need to go toilet, I need to wee, do you know what I mean? Like, I need to go. And there was like basically telling me, okay, that's fine, you can go. And I feel like every time I went to the toilet, my waters, I know it sounds weird, but I feel like this is exactly what happened. Like, my waters kept breaking slowly every time. So I feel like it was either the front or the back waters that broke first, and then over time the others broke as I was going to toilet and whatever. But yeah, so after that, I think it got to like, I think 11 o'clock at night. They checked me again for dilation. They said I'm still 1 centimetre. They said obviously go home and come back and see how you are, because they say you go home, sometimes you dilate more because you're in the comfort of your own home, etc. And I didn't want to go, I was just scared. I was like, okay, we'll go. It's not just that, it's like I don't drive, so it's like bringing all my stuff up in a taxi and then going home again with all my stuff is quite long, but it is what it is. So I come home, I call my partner, I said, please can you come over, like I really need you here right now. I had a tiny bit of gas and air as well when they done my dilation check, because it was awful. Like, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. And I might sound silly for that, but it was just awful. And it was only a tiny bit, just to take like the edge off it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the most uncomfortable feeling. It's awful. But so I got home, I was ringing my partner straight away, like, please can you come over, I'm home, like I don't want to be alone, please can you come over. And he came over, he helped me out of the taxi, and my mum as well, carrying the stuff. Because I had the gas in there, when I got home I was throwing up. And another reason why I was excited to come home, because at the hospital at the time the showers weren't working and I just really wanted to have hot water. In my birth plan I did want a TENS machine as well, which is just something you could put, I think you put it on your back, and it like sends vibrations through your back or something, from what I can remember, to help with your contractions. But the hospital didn't have them, you had to buy it yourself, and there's me thinking, yeah, the hospital gonna have them. So if I was to have a baby in the future, I'll tell you now, I'm getting that TENS machine. I'm getting it. I'm sorry, but I am. So as I was saying, I was being sick. My partner was just there for me the whole time. Like, he was amazing. I went in the shower. My back was killing. I just wanted that nice hot water on my back, and it felt so good. I tried my best to sleep. My partner had work the next day. Because obviously we didn't know what was going on, so I said, like, yeah, you go to work, obviously mum can come with me, because it's only one person, unfortunately, because of all the COVID. He's laying there, I kept waking up going, oh, like I was in so much pain. Like, I was having contractions throughout the night, and like it was just getting so intense. I kept going into my mum's room saying, mum, this hurts, it really hurts now, it's getting more intense. And it was getting to the point where like I was in that much pain, I just kept moving, and sometimes I just had to stand still and just breathe through the contraction, but it was so intense. So I ended up going back to the hospital at like 1 o'clock in the morning, because I called them and said, like, look, it's really hurting me now and I feel like it's worse than before. And they said, okay, come back. So I went back, and they'd done a dilation check. I had to wait for a while though, and they told me that I was 4 centimetres, and I was like, wow, because I initially wanted a water birth, so I was allowed to go in the water, and I was like, yes, I'm going in the water, lovely water. But I got in there and the water wasn't really warm, like it kept getting quite cold, and because I was so tired and drained, I kept falling asleep, so I had to keep putting my arms like this on the sides. My mum had to keep like holding me there. Yeah, so that kept happening. Then obviously I could have the gas in there properly, then I was taking all that give it to me, do you know what I mean? I need that. And then yeah, I feel like for a person who's got low pain tolerance, I did quite well because I breathed through the contractions good, but obviously it was still quite intense, but everything was all in my back, not in my stomach whatsoever. I still kept feeling like I needed to just go toilet 24/7, obviously where her head's like pushing down. And then just trying to remember now, I remember my mum and the nurse was saying to me like, yeah, not long now till your baby comes, because obviously from then you're meant to like dilate, and then that's it, you're pushing the baby out, do you know what I mean? But my labour unfortunately didn't go like that. So I was in there till like 6 in the morning, and the woman said to me, okay, you have to go now. So they put me into the delivery suite. Pardon me. Now in the delivery suite, my actual original midwife, which I love, she's amazing, she took over, and at that point, like, I was just in pain. Oh wait, before I went into delivery suite, they offered me the pethidine injection. When they gave it to me, I was just throwing up everywhere, but it did help me go to sleep for a little bit. But I kept waking up on and off, and I was in so much pain. And then I remember a nurse coming in saying, do you want to donate like your placenta? And I just kept falling asleep. Like, I was trying to talk to her, but I just kept going back to sleep. I was like, I just couldn't keep my eyes open. Then I was like to my mum, what did she say? And then she told me, I was like, yeah, I want to donate it. But I was just so out of it. And then yeah, so I went to delivery suite. By then it was just so intense. I just wasn't dilating any further. They wanted to put me on a hormone drip, but I don't actually know if they did or didn't, to be honest with you, but I know I had a drip in my hand anyway. But I remember them saying that they didn't start the hormones. I think it's because they kind of knew, yeah, I wasn't going to go into labour naturally. I mean, have my baby naturally. So, kept repeating, kept going to the toilet all the time. Then it got to the point when they said to me like, look, you can't go to the toilet no more because we need to monitor the baby. They kept giving me like the little things, like the bedpan things to go toilet, and I said no, I need to get up, I need to move, do you know what I mean? I need to get this pain, you know, gone. Like, I need to move and help my pain. But they was like, no, you're not allowed. And then at the same time I was like, I don't care, and I just kept moving anyway. But that's just because I was in pain. And yeah, it got to the point where my daughter started getting really distressed, and they said her heartbeat was dropping. And I just remember, wait, sorry, before I get to that point, they had to give me an epidural. That now, I did not want it at all, because obviously there's a risk that you can get paralysed, and I was like, no, I don't want it. But I was in so much pain, I was just like, I don't want it, but I needed something, so they gave me that. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad, honestly. They put spray on my legs to see like if my body would like feel the numbness of it, like to test, I think. And they touched me, and they was like, can you feel that? I was laughing. I was like, no, I can't feel it. I was so happy. I could not feel nothing, and I was actually able to sleep. Now this was like day 2, heading on to day 3. And then basically the student midwife said to me, I don't want you to be scared, but I'm going to push the emergency button because I need them to come in here and people are going to rush in. I love and appreciate that girl so much, because she saved mine and my child's life, and like, she was just so like warming, someone who made you very comfortable. So she did that, and they all come running in, senior midwife or nurse come running in, and they turned around and said to me like, your temperature's sky high, your daughter's heartbeat's dropping. Now I was bawling when I heard this, because I was thinking, oh my god, like the worst thing's like, is my child gonna like pass away? What's gonna happen? Do you know what I mean? And they was talking about plans or whatever, and the senior nurse or midwife was like really mad and said like, why did no one push that button beforehand? And I only just touched 5 centimeters when they decided to take me down for an emergency C-section. So that was a bit annoying. But I went down. The room just looked really scary. I had to take all my jewelries out. I went into the operating room, and like my arms were so sore because I think the same thing happened to my mum with her. Like, they was trying to take my blood out when I was in labour, like blood tests and stuff, and like my blood just wasn't wanting to come out. My arms were literally bruised, both arms. It was awful. So they wanted to do it when I was awake, but I could feel them touching my stomach, and I just freaked out. I said, no, I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. There's me thinking I'm going to feel that knife. I'm going to feel everything they do to me. I said, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I started freaking out. Now the anaesthetist above my head, yeah. I feel like an idiot. Everyone just feels so intrigued in my labour and delivery stories. Story. One child only. Thank you. So basically, they decided to put me to sleep. Now, I freaked out because they said, your mum's got to leave. I was like, no, I don't want my mum to leave. I don't want her to leave. I started panicking. So scared. Panicking. And then they said to me, like, look, she's got to leave. And then they went to go put the mask on my face, and I went like that. I said, don't put it on my face. Don't put that on my face. And I started screaming. I was like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Because I've never had an operation before, and one of my biggest fears is that I wouldn't wake up if they put me to sleep. And then I was saying to the anaesthetist above my head, I was like, listen, please, can they be dissolvable stitches? Please, please. Out of all things, you know, that's what come out my mouth. And then, like, I was saying to him, like, please ask them. He was like, okay, I will try. And they, like, angled the gas above me to knock me out. And I was just like, what's that smell? Something really stinks. What is it? And I started panicking because I was thinking, what the hell is that? Like, that is awful. And then knock out. I wake up. My daughter was born at 3:36 a.m. their day after. So that's 3 days labour. And I just woke up, like, I was so drained. I saw my mum sitting there holding a baby. There's me in my big stomach. I touched it and it was all squishy. And I was like, oh, that's my baby. Now I fell back to sleep, woke up at like 7 o'clock. I said, where's my baby? To my mum. Was like, where's my child? And she was like, she's here. And then she brought her over to me. But the nurse put her on me, and I was like, ow, it hurts. And because obviously my stomach was hurting. And then I said, Mum, can you please put her like back in her little bed thing? And then they did. But honestly, like, it was amazing. It was a lovely experience, something I don't think I'd ever forget. But yeah, it's just crazy. So my partner come to see us, and yeah, I just remember calling my partner after I come back around from the operation, and I had her, and I said to him, like, yeah, the baby's here. I sent him a picture of her, and he was just like, you're amazing. And I kid you not, I basically was nearly in tears because, like, to hear him say to me, like, I'm amazing and he's proud of me, it's like, it meant a lot to me. I went through so much, and it was like, wow, no, yeah, it just felt nice to hear. It was lovely. And yeah, so come the next day, got to meet our little one, and it was lovely. And yeah, she's still a daddy's girl. They share a very special bond. When he's around, I don't eat this, but I wouldn't have it any other way. They are lovely together, absolutely lovely. Now the next thing that I want to talk about while I'm here is just things that I feel like were very unexpected. Like, I had no idea. No one told me. My midwife didn't tell me. No one prepared me enough to know that I was going to feed my baby every 2 to 4 hours. Mind blown. Absolutely mind blown. There's me literally exhausted trying to feed her, and I had to keep pushing the button for them to come do things to me because I literally couldn't move. Like, I just couldn't move. And obviously that was the first kind of day before I actually got up to walk for the first time, and I was holding on to that nurse's hands for dear life. I did not want to drop, but I felt like I helped myself a lot more by getting up and walking around as much as I could, like doing little things like going to the toilet, changing my daughter's nappy. But I had to push the button to get the milk and for me to like feed her and whatever, because I felt like I wasn't strong enough at that very moment. But yeah, I did get there in the end, and I'm very proud for that. Yeah, so that's one thing. What was the other thing now? The other thing I would say is that no one tells you about like sleep regressions, and I'm not talking just newborn, I'm talking like the whole like year and maybe after that. Like no one tells you about the sleep regressions, and no one warns you like how tired you're going to be either. And it's also very like confusing when they're starting to get older. You need to drop the night feeds, you need to get them onto weaning. Like it's so confusing, and it's something that you need to like slowly learn to adapt to. And for me it was confusing. Like I'm thinking to myself, okay, so how do I drop this feed? How is she gonna like go onto the food and have the milk? And it was so many things going around in my mind. It was so confusing. I feel like they do not prepare you enough for when you have a child. No way at all. No. Nope. Another thing that I also didn't know about, it might sound silly to some people, but for me I just completely didn't know, was like obviously in the hospital the balls were all ready made, and whereas at home I had to make them myself, and I was making them wrong at first. But yeah, and it's like learning about all the different ounces, all the feeding cues, like when they want to feed. But like when the midwife did give me a leaflet on like when the feeding cues are, but also to me it's like how a baby would normally behave as well. But you just learn as you go along, and you do pick up like when they are hungry. But at first for me it was a bit hard to know, because obviously it was my first time, so it was quite hard to like pick up on it. But after a while obviously you just know. So it's just things like that really, that it's like there were unexpected things I just wasn't aware of. And yeah, it was just things that you learn as you go on. Also teething, another one that also might sound silly. I know that children do teeth, but it's like there's different stages, different times of different teeth come in. Every child's different. Their teeth sometimes come at faster paces, sometimes go at slower paces, but I think my daughter was quite like at the normal level. So yeah, but she started teething, I think, for me, I think it's quite early, like 3 months, and her first tooth come at like 3-4 months. So yeah, it's just things like that. It's just things that I feel like you're not educated enough on, unless like you probably know someone who's already had a child who can fill you in on these things. But for me, I didn't really have that. But yeah, so this is all I really wanted to talk about, what I wanted to cover today, and I hope you guys enjoy this, and hopefully it can help some people out there who are maybe having their first child. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, also last thing, swaddles, they are very, very, very good. And white noise, I didn't know about white noise. White noise is like noises inside of the womb, heartbeats, cars, rain, things like that. I didn't know about that. My friend actually told me about that. She ended up having her baby in the same month as my baby. And yeah, just things like that. Swaddles are really good as well. Like they make them feel like they are in the womb. Do you know what I mean? Because think of it like as a baby, it must be scary to come out into this world, whereas you're used to being tucked away. And another thing for me as well was that I found it so strange after I had her, because it's like in my head she's not in my stomach anymore, she's not protected, and it's like I've got to protect her in this big world. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you do want more videos like this from me, please comment below. And yeah, thanks guys.